What's going on, guys? Chris the Greek Weeb here again with another Eden Zero manga chapter review. In the last chapter, we honestly got some pretty dark themes and set up for this new arc, and I'm excited to see where it plays out. We've been getting some pretty great responses to the Eden Zero manga reviews, some pretty decent amount of likes and views, so I will keep doing this every single week as much as I possibly can, and I hope you guys keep enjoying the content. Now, this chapter was honestly a bit more of a lower brow chapter, more like quick setup for what will happen next. No real action. It was so good to see because we got to see some new areas. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Greek Weeb, so that you can be updated on future content and what could possibly constitute for a video. Without further ado, let's do a quick recap of the last chapter. So the last chapter, we actually got some idea of what Shura is up to. After some really quick training and skipping ahead from the training arc that we probably could have gotten, the whole crew gathers and sees a press conference from Shura saying that he will essentially destroy all of the robots and droids in the Alley Cosmos, so that due to the virus that Ziggy had used to corrupt all the bots on Foresta and start to cause a giant massacre. And due to Shura's responsibility and access to the all-link system with what we learned to know it, he could actually perform a robot genocide, the likes to span the entire cosmos. We also learned that this is also most likely what Ziggy wants. He wants access to that system so that he can actually corrupt all the bots in the cosmos at once. And now we have all these other parties involved, which it's a lot going on right now. We also got possible ideas or mysteries surrounding Ziggy's initial trip to find Mother, as well as the origins of the Four Shining Stars, since they do not have any memories of their trips outside of the Sakura Cosmos with Ziggy, and people that have met Ziggy had not met the Four Shining Stars when they were initially going to find Mother outside of the Sakura Cosmos. So this sets up a lot of mysteries that I'm excited to find out. But now we start off with chapter 135, titled Desert Oasis. And we come to this planet known as Sandra, known as the planet of sand. As we see Rebecca and everyone going through a bazaar, and I like that when they go to different areas, they change their outfits. I like a lot of these different outfit changes to help fit the planet's culture and everything. So it's really nice. So they're in a marketplace, they're making the rounds, and we actually get to see a lot of pretty funny moments with Shiki and everyone looking at everything that's going on, seeing all of the different marks of the culture, the different creatures, other bots. It's nice, a nice little adventure-esque thing. And Laguna actually tells them to follow him as we go back to 10 hours earlier as a flashback. So now they know. So they're basically contemplating what Ziggy is planning to control all the machines, while Shura plans to slay all the machines, as Wise says if he could really do that. As Sister does bring up the point that Ziggy managed to control all the bots on Foresta, and Shura could have some tricks up his sleeve as well, as an angry Shiki says that they have to stop Shura. But they're wondering how they could even figure out where this Shura guy is. And they need to find some hits in the videos. And Pino says that he is in fact on Planet Nero number 1, known as the Temple. Shiki tells them that they should start going there, as Laguna shows up saying that it's very impossible. They can't just cruise in as a type of suicide mission. He states that the Temple, the planet where Poseidon Nero lives, will basically not let any civilian ship get close at all. It'll end up as fish food for 60,000 strong defense fleet ships. Shiki saying it doesn't matter, they have to save them going on. They have to save all the bots. As Laguna just reconfirms, there's not just 60,000 ships, but right behind them, 100,000 battle cruisers around the planet. Shiki says, so what? As everyone just keeps saying, look, this is reckless, chance of victory 0%, and even though this is the Eden Zero, there's no way they can stand up to numbers that big. And I just love Rebecca's reaction being like, Shiki, do you even know how to count? And even though and I also like that she basically gives the same answer to Homura, as she just agrees with Shiki right off the bat. I mean, Homura's not an idiot, but I just like that this is her reaction to the two people who are just the classic shonen type characters that just want to like jump right into danger to save people. I like that this is more or less like the more logical approach, and not everybody just so gung-ho. It's not like they're fighting against Dragon Joe where they have prior knowledge of the future and that they can just jump right in. It's not an entire army. But Laguna says that if they're serious, he might know a guy that can help them out, which is why they are on Sandra, the planet of the sand. So as we go back to present times, Rebecca's actually wondering that from the announcement that Shura made like a couple of hours ago, why this planet isn't in much of a panic. Things seem pretty peaceful, as Laguna says that this planet is pretty special. Also asking if Rebecca is terrified when they came here. Now, Rebecca says that Shiki made up his mind and they're going to see someone that could help. She admits that she's scared, but she wants to stop that robot genocide, and she can't think of it as someone else's problem. As we then get to the area where Laguna was bringing them, as he knocks on the door, and we get a type of password deal. It says the Camelfish Depot is on the other side. As Laguna just responds, "Yeah, but I want a place with some good Monsaf." As the door opens and they enter, some alien named Ibaraki shows up, and he points his gun at everyone along with a bunch of other men. Everyone's wondering, wait, aren't these guys your friends? Shiki being the usual, basically wants to be friends with him. And everyone is about to shoot him, as Shiki then uses his ether gear to pin everyone's weapons to the ground, making them like 10 times heavier. And everyone realizes that he uses gravity magic just like Shura, and that he's incredibly powerful. Laguna says that they have come to talk to the boss, and as Rebecca is being like, all these people and they have a boss, what is this place? As a voice is coming from a gate opening up from the floor, saying that they're an organization formed to free the Aoi Cosmos from Poseidon Nero's tyranny. You might call it, and that they're basically a rebel army. They're called the Oasis. And Laguna was actually a former member. As the boss says, let's forget about Laguna, he's interested in the powers of Shiki, as we see this giant hulking cat guy who is named Goodwin, and saying that he's going to be the one to take down Nero. As everyone, aside from Shiki, is just in shock at how huge this guy is and what kind of creature he might actually be, as the chapter ends. Now, like I said at the start of this video, this was basically just one big setup chapter for what could potentially set up the next arc of the series. But what we can tell, these guys are a rebel army that wants to oppose Nero and his forces that have basically put the entire Aoi Cosmos under their control. And the guy himself is pretty powerful, so it makes sense why no one has thought of rebelling against him before. Now, for this guy Maxwell to want to create a rebel army to fight him, he must think he's pretty strong. Now, he looks strong, but does he have a powerful ether gear? Does he have something against ether gear? Because from what I can tell, everyone in Nero's army, from the elite group, the Ocean Six, and his hunting groups, as well as Shura himself, all have ether gear. So it's very possible that they will really need someone with powerful ether gear, and Shiki and the Eden Zero crew can help them with that. It's also nice to give a bit of information on Laguna'S backstory. At least we didn't see it, but a good information of his past, that he actually was from the Aoi Cosmos, and he does in fact used to be a member of this little rebel group. What could happen afterwards? We're not sure. Could these guys actually really be able to get the Eden Zero crew onto Nero Planet 1? Or will they manage to find some sort of information on where Shura will be to encounter Ziggy? There's a whole lot of stuff that could potentially happen in these next couple of chapters. This arc could be them setting up a battle to fight Nero himself on Nero Planet 1 at the temple. Or we could see them figuring out that Shura is going to encounter Ziggy on Nero Planet 66 for the battle of the all-link system. There's still a lot for us to see, but so we don't get a messy like 5-way battle for supremacy or whatever, we could have Shiki and the gang fight Nero on his home planet, since he, based due to his dice ether, was like, okay, I will not do anything in response to Ziggy, but Shura will. So it's very possible that he foresaw Matthew's it's possible that he foresaw Maxwell's rebellion and the possibility that Shiki was going to come, and that his destiny was to remain there to fight them off. I would actually like that, having this arc be basically split up with Shiki and the Eden Zero crew along with these rebels fighting Nero and whatever forces he has left on his planet, on Nero Planet 1, as we also have like a bit of a side arc or a B-plot that we'll switch back and forth with Shura fighting against Ziggy, and maybe even the Irrational Stays Interstellar and Elsie joining in whatever area they could. Maybe Elsie will join Shiki, and maybe Justice and the rest of the Galactic Union Army, they might end up interfering with Ziggy and Shura's battle. That would actually be pretty good, or it could be vice versa. Now, I want to see how strong the Eden Zero crew has gotten in their 7 days of training, because from what we can tell, Shiki's gravity powers have increased from the training, though from what Zenala said, he probably isn't on Ziggy's level just yet, so I do believe that they won't fight Ziggy. And if Mashima wants to go for a darker route, he could give us like a false victory with Shiki and the gang stopping Nero and possibly liberating the Aoi Cosmos, but at the same time, Ziggy manages to defeat Shura and gain control of the all-link system, turning all the bots in the Aoi Cosmos against all the other living creatures, and having the first one of all the different cosmos under Ziggy's control, and eliminating all other organic life. That could be a pretty dark way to end this next arc, this little Aoi Cosmos saga, but I think this would also be good to help really tone in how strong Ziggy has become and how much of a threat he really is, while also giving us, letting us see how strong Shura himself is against Ziggy. Maybe they're on equal footing for a bit, and Ziggy knows some powerful ether, whatever. I don't know how this could play out, but I am kind of excited, because if they go with the two different plot points, not having everyone converge on one place, this could actually be pretty good, because it is a bit early for a bunch of different people to converge on one place and just have an all-out melee. But overall, a decent chapter. Nothing too big happened. It was, I'd say this is the weakest out of the last couple of chapters I've been covering ever since Foresta. So I like the direction that we might possibly go. I like that we're getting a bit into who Lagunica was before he joined Drake and Joe and then the Eden Zero crew. And I like the idea of the Eden Zero crew joining a rebellion against Nero and his forces. But with all that said and done, what do you guys think? Do you think Shiki and the crew could potentially be strong enough to take on Nero and his forces on Temple Planet 1? Or do you think they will probably fail? Do you think that maybe Mashima will split the plot into Shiki and the gang fighting Nero and Ziggy and Shura fighting off on Nero Planet 66 as its own thing? Or do you think they're all just going to converge on one place and have an all-out brawl? Let me know in the comments down below, as well as your theories on what could possibly happen next. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. And with all that said and done, I hope you guys have an awesome day.